narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narnarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Śrīla Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. By regular attendance in the classes on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namaha Pankajanaabhaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Akinchana Vittaya Hare Krishna. Paramananda Pathaya Premavarshi Aksharaya Te Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostate. This Bhagavatam Purana, which we are reading or trying to read, is not an ordinary book, is not an ordinary literature. At every syllable, Premavarshi Aksharaya, it showers love of Godhead for one who reads with sincere devotion, with sincerity. Reading of and hearing of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is one of the first limbs of bhakti called Shravanam. So we are very, very blessed and fortunate to get one more opportunity to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in the association of devotees in the human form of life. Ahobhagyam, Ahobhagyam. What could be bigger fortune than this? So we are reading Canto 8, Chapter 9, entitled The Lord's Incarnates as Mohinī-Mūrti. We are almost towards the end of this chapter. Just one more verse to go. But yesterday we were discussing about that how the Lord, the difference between the demigods and the demons, the difference between those who take shelter of the Supreme Lord and those who don't. The circumstances don't change, time does not change. They also have two hands and two legs, and the demons also. But one thing changes, the outcome. The example is the cat holds the kitten and the cat holds the rat in the same mouth, the same cat, the same teeth, the same everything. But the outcome of the rat and the outcome of the kitten is completely different. When the rat is in the mouth of the cat, it's the end for the rat. But when the kitten is in the mouth of the cat, the mother cat transports the kitten to a safer place. So there could be death, there will be death of a devotee and a non-devotee also. But for non-devotee, it's kind of the rat in the cat's mouth, because one who does not take shelter of Lord, the whole life, if one is just busy in one's own propaganda, then at the time of death one will remember that, and one will probably be born in different species, etc., upper planets, lower planets, depending upon the kind of activities. But the same death for a devotee is like a ladder, stepping stone, like Dhruv Maharaj stepped on the death as a stepping stone to climb the Vaikuntha plane. So big difference, which we were discussing yesterday. So now we are at the last verse. So let's read this verse, text number 29. So it's almost the end of the week. So I would request anyone not got a chance throughout this week to read, this is your time to read. And we'll not be reading a lot of verses, so Silas Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes,
And I
Prabhuji.
think Moksha Mataji also wants to read, so maybe you can read halfway through the, like you can stop in the middle of the purport and she can read the rest.
Yes, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Text 29. Yad Yajyate suvasu karmamano vachobher dehatma gyadishu nribhishtad asad pratakvat tereva tad bhavati yat kriyate pratakvat sarvasya tad bhavati mula nishe chanam yat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. In human society, there are various activities performed for the protection of one's wealth and life by one's words, one's mind, and one's action. But they are all performed for one's personal or extended sense gratification with reference to the body. All these activities are baffled because of being separate from devotional service. But when the same activities are performed for the satisfaction of the Lord, the beneficial results are distributed to everyone. Just as water poured on the root of a tree is distributed throughout the entire tree. Purport. This is the distinction between materialistic activities and activities performed in Krishna consciousness. The entire world is active, and this includes the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the bhaktas. However, all activities except those of the bhaktas, the devotees, are in bafflement and a waste of time and energy. Moghasya mogha karmano mogha jnana vichetasam. If one is not a devotee, his hopes, his activities, and his knowledge are all baffled. A non devotee works for his personal sense gratification or for the sense gratification of his family, society, community, or nation. But because all such activities are separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are considered asat. The word asat means bad or temporary, and sat means permanent and good. I'll stop here so that Mataji has some to read. So for this part of the purport, we learn how everybody is in an identity crisis. They think they are the body and not the soul. They think they are a brown skin, white skin. So we see now there are white supremacists, and there is so much of fighting in the name of race and political affiliation. That's because everybody are identifying themselves with the body. And when a person identifies himself as the body, he gravitates towards the same kind of people, and all the activities done, Prabhupada says, is all baffled or in a confused way, and it is a useless shrameva kevalam. And only the actions done in Krishna consciousness will produce any benefit, because any action done in Krishna consciousness is eternal, but everything else would end at the end of this life, and it just brings more and more suffering. So Prabhupada also mentions about the root of the plant. So any activities done in devotion to the Lord is like watering the root. We hear this example all the time, but it's to internalize it is always difficult. So the best way to act in this world is to dovetail everything in the service of the Lord, and that way the whole world is satisfied. And last sentence is converting asat to sat. Asat means temporary, and Sat means eternal. So Asatoma Satgamaya. It's also something in the Vedas. So take me from Asat to Sat. And the only way to do that is by surrendering to the Lord and rendering service to his lotus feet. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Yes, Mataji, you want to complete the purport?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Activities performed for the satisfaction of Krishna are permanent and good. But asat activity, although sometimes celebrated as philanthropy, altruism, nationalism, this ism or that ism, will never produce any permanent result and is therefore all bad. Even a little work done in Krishna consciousness is a permanent asset and is all good because it is done for Krishna, the all good Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's everyone's friend. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only enjoyer and the proprietor of everything. Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasyam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Therefore, any activity performed for the Supreme Lord is permanent. As a result of such activities, the performer is immediately recognized. Nana tasman maneshu kaschin me priya kar- kartama. Such a devotee, because full of knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead, is immediately transcendental. Although he may superficially appear to be engaged in the materialistic activities, the only distinction between the materialistic activity and the spiritual activity is that the material activity is performed only to satisfy one's own senses, whereas the spiritual activity is meant to satisfy the transcendental senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the spiritual activity, everyone factually benefits, whereas by materialistic activity, no one benefits, and instead one becomes engaged in the law of karma. Hare Krishna. So uh, here, what I can understand is anything one may do the same thing as the other person does, but if the bhav is different, means like if the person is doing that for Krishna consciousness to satisfy the senses of Sri Krishna, then the work he will do will be eternal and will be able to benefit all the people. But if the same thing is done with the bhava of altruism or socialism or nationalism or for the love of the country, but then it will give temporary results and it will be like till when we can do that. So it will have limited results, whereas the same thing if done for the gratification of Sri Krishna gives eternal results. And also there is a difference in the in the the vikhyati of the person doing the work. The person if does the work in Krishna consciousness will become more successful and get more credits than that of the person doing it materialistically. So here we can see that if the same work is done in Krishna consciousness, then it also liberates us from the cycle of birth and death. But if the same thing is done with the bhava of any other bhava except that of Krishna consciousness, then it will be uh, you know it will act as a promoter. It will act as a catalyst for our being entangled in the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mansulas Prabhu and Mataji, for reading this last verse of chapter 9. Very, very important verse and very, very relevant in this day and age as well. If one does a lot of so-called good activities, which are actually asat, so many isms are mentioned here, which one does because of one's own mind and senses. Actually, in a lot of these isms, the goal is not to do selfless service. The goal is to serve the extended self. It may seem to be selfless, but it is serving the extended self. For example, some people may do some social activities, but they'll say, okay, we will feed food, but we will feed food only to people of my color or my religion or my social background or my nation. Others are enemies. Uh, but Prabhupada served all, irrespective of all these isms. International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Because watering the root, yatha tarura mulena nischalena. When we water the mula or the root of the tree, all the part and parcel of the tree, the leaves and the fruits and the branches, etc., they're naturally watered. So an intelligent person does not water each and every leaf separately. Intelligent person waters the mula. And what is the mula? The mula is Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Nadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes, Krishna. So, and the other difference between material and spiritual is in material life, one has to struggle a lot. We discussed that yesterday. Lot of hard work and alpasari, very little effort. Sorry, very little result. But in spiritual life, neha vikramanashaste pratyavayuna vidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahto bhed. Swalpam, very little effort can save one from greatest danger. In material life, one can work a lot for, wealth and this and that. I'm not saying to give up job and all those things, so please don't take it wrong. But the point is, one may accumulate a lot of wealth, accumulate a lot of name, fame, recognition, but will that save one from the clutches of birth and death? No. At the time of death, ultimately it will be zero. Whether one is Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or a pauper in the street. But in spiritual life, even if one does not get so-called success, like a Jamil, he chanted the name of Narayana once, and that too unknowingly. But what happened? Vishnudutas came to protect him, and then later he chanted sincerely and perfected his life. So many examples are there. Offering one lamp, offering one Hare Krishna Mahamantra has so much benefit, what to speak of someone who is doing it consistently and regularly. So the idea here is the Shukdev Goswami is closing this chapter and to differentiate between the divine and the demoniac, to differentiate between the devotional and the non-devotional endeavors, to differentiate between the Sat and the Asat endeavors. And how is that differentiated? Falena parichayet. We discussed that yesterday. Success and defeat in the activity is understood by its result. Correct? Was Jatayu successful? This is a famous example. It may seem that he was a failure. It may seem that he tried his best to serve the Lord, but he was a failure. But what could be a bigger success than to get the final, while leaving one's body, to get the darshan of the Lord and gave up his body in Lord's arms and Lord's lap? What could be a bigger success? The Lord did his final rites. Even the Lord did not do his final rites for his own father, Dashrath Maharaj. What could be a bigger success than? And on the other hand, materialistic person may appear to be successful. Oh, look at his mansion, look at his wealth, look at his name, fame, recognition. But ultimately, what is the result? This is a very short term, right? Could be 10 years, could be 10 decades at the max, not more than that in the material world. But what is the ultimate? Next life, we don't know. He could become or she could become an ant in the gutter. Sorry to say that, but could be based on activity one does. So is that success? Is that sat? Is that real or is that asat? So from the eternal perspective, this 10 years or this 50 years time frame, which one thinks is everything, is a very infinitesimal point on this our timeline. So should we focus on that infinitesimal point more, or should we focus on that infinite timeline more? An intelligent person would always focus on the long-term goal. And that is, while doing our duties in this world, focus on Krishna consciousness, water the root of the tree. That's going to benefit us forever and take us to the Sat. Any comments, questions, any additions in this topic? Anyone has? Okay, so we will do a quick summary of this chapter and then we can see. So this is chapter number 9, has 29 verses, which we just read. The Lord incarnates as Mohinī-Mūrti. So in the previous chapter, we discussed that how different elements came, different personalities came, Surbhi cow and the Uchishriva, the horse, and the Eravat, the elephant, etc. And finally came Rama Devi, Lakshmi Devi, and came Dhanvantari with the nectar pot, and then the demons stole that, and then came Mohinī-Mūrti to help the demigods. So in the last chapter, there was just brief introduction about her beautiful features, her eyes, her cheeks, her waist, her face, her garland. Beautiful features were described, which continues. So the description continues, and in this chapter also. And then the demons were enamored. Oh my God, we have never seen such a beautiful personality like Mohinī-Mūrti. And then they are now talking to this beautiful girl. Oh, lotus-eyed girl, who are you? Ka, Kim, Kutaha, Kasya. From where have you come? Who is your father? Who is your mother? Who is your brother? Who is your husband? And why have you come? She didn't speak anything, just smiling in a very shy manner. And the demons requested, well, we are all the sons of Kashyapa, but we are somehow fighting amongst each other, brothers fighting amongst each other. Why don't you become our mediator? Because you are so kind, you are so beautiful, you are this, you are that, we trust you like anything. So we discussed that how the demons were contemplating upon the beauty of opposite sex, and that way, like how Ravana was meditating upon or contemplating Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa, the last first from that contemplation comes lust, attachment, then anger, Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha, illusion, Sammoha Smriti Vibhramaha, bewilderment of memory, Smriti Brahmasat Buddhi Nasha, intelligence is lost, Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati, and then complete fall down. So that's what we related, that how this downfall is happening for the demons. They are more willing to trust a stranger who looks very beautiful and has attractive features than their own brothers who are the sons of the same father. That's the height of illusion. And Mohinī-Mūrti kind of smiled and gave it, like her by her gestures, etc. That why are you trusting me? I am just wandering here and there, and I am a stranger to you. Why are you trusting me? I don't. A stranger, an intelligent person like you will not trust a woman, and that too who is like wandering here and there with no proper. You don't know me, so in that way, she is kind of building more faith. So, but the demons trusted Mohinī-Mūrti completely, and then their trust further grew in her. We will do whatever, even if you are dishonest, we will accept. Even if you take this nectar away, We are happy just by seeing your beauty. We are by seeing your beautiful words. So then finally, then she puts also a condition that yes, I will do it, but you can't tell me, oh, you are not doing this honestly. Why you should distribute equally, or you should distribute more to us, and things like that. At that condition, I will distribute. So finally, they all agreed that Mohinī-Mūrti will distribute the nectar, and the demons and the demigods, they all took bath, and we discussed that. They did yagya, charity, sacrifice, etc. A big dining hall was arranged, and in one line there were seated the demons, and in other line, little separate, like in sometimes you may see in India, the people sit in rows and the servers are serving different items. So kind of that arrangement was arranged, and that was a beautiful dining hall. And Mohinī-Mūrti, this beautiful sari and golden, and again her description is there, um, competing the beauty of Sri Lakshmi. The Lord is competing the beauty of Sri Lakshmi. So now she distributed the nectar to the demigods. And she's looking at them and smiling towards the demons. And the demons are still thinking, well, okay, maybe she will give a few drops to them, but ultimately she's ours. Ultimately, look at her, she's so kind, she's smiling at us. That means she will give the nectar to us. Let her give a few drops. So they couldn't see properly what's going on, that she's not just giving a few drops, she is giving a lot. And finally, this nectar distribution was going on. Some demons were a little agitated, etc. And then finally, one demon named Rahu said, well, too much, enough is enough. He could get what's going on, and then looks like we'll not get any nectar. So he disguised in the dress of a demigod and went on that row, because has any one of you done that sometimes? I actually have done that in my childhood. The prasadam was over in one line, the servers were not coming. So I kind of moved and said, okay, in that line, the servers are coming. So let me go in that line. I was very, very young at that time, maybe 10, 11 years old. So I was just thinking. So the Rahu actually moved that. So my Rahu propensity, my demoniac propensity. So the servers were not coming in the demon line. So this person, Rahu, went to the demigod line. And then he got the nectar, but he was not supposed to get the nectar. So the Lord chopped off the head of Rahu. And since the nectar had reached the throat, so the head was kind of immortal, and then the body was gone, which shows the power of nectar. And the Lord did that to show the power of nectar. Now, this happened in front of everyone in this whole dining hall. We discussed that picture, also the beautiful painting. And then finally, the differences between the divine and the demoniac, the demigods and the demons, which we discussed in the last two verses, that how the situations and everything is same, but the result is different. One gets, why? Because one accepts the lotus feet of Lord. Vishnu Bhakta Smrita Deva. Vishnu Bhakta. Viparita Tad Asura. Those who don't remember Krishna or Vishnu are Asura. It's Asura does not mean having horns or by the color of the skin or by their complexion. Asura means not worshipping Krishna. That is the essence. This is the sweet short summary of this chapter. If anyone has any comments, any reflections, realizations, we can take those. And then we will also have quiz for the previous two chapters. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Praram. So Prabhuji, I have one question, like from the previous chapter, the churning of the milk ocean, that the churning was done to get the nectar. So what is the significance of coming out of Oirabad, the Uchusrava, Lakshmiji? What does it actually mean? Because from milk, in my limited senses, I can think, oh, okay, somehow it can be processed as a nectar. But in my limited sense, I don't understand why these figures are coming out. Is there any kind of relations, logics?
This Lord's Leela. Lord likes to enjoy his pastimes. He is Leela Dhari. He is Leela. He is Hari Ananta, Hari Leela Ananta. So it is his beautiful pastimes. He wants to arrange these beautiful pastimes. So how can we understand? How can we understand 800,000 miles of tortoise? How can we understand a golden mountain with thousands of miles high? We cannot understand through our mundane logic, through our little intelligence. So in some of these, in most of them, practically, we should not try to just understand through our limited intelligence. We should relish it. We should just relish it. That beauty of the Lord, the arrangement of the Lord, and the lessons in these pastimes are teaching. So this is what I understand.
Thank you, Guruji.
Because everything is totally beyond our understanding. Like Vasuki emitting fire, the place, the arrangements. So everything is transcendental here. If anyone wants to add or any other comments on that?
Prabhuji, I just want to add a point that when we are focused on a goal, when we are on a journey, many things come up, but we shouldn't lose sight of our actual goal. So here, nectar was the actual goal, and many items were coming, and even Mother Lakshmi came, and she had to be given the due respect. We should focus on our final goal is something I can think about as a lesson from this.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a very nice point. And we discussed that in the previous chapter when the Lord said that don't get agitated, be patient, don't be greedy. And same is the process of the churning of the heart. In the churning of the heart, sometimes nice things will come and we'll feel, wow, I chanted so nicely today. I feel I'm in spiritual bliss. And sometimes ugly things will come out. Poison will come out. Oh, I'm so lusty. Oh, I'm so greedy. Oh, I'm so angry. So we have to keep churning. And we have to keep churning and nectar will come. The nectar of Krishna Prema. Any other comments, additions before we move on? Or any other reflections, questions? Okay, so I hope
Prabhuji, just one point, Prabhuji. So like this whole chapter, it seems like lust is the worst part, and it seems like in the material world, because of lust, even people who are getting eternal life, or not eternal, but long life, they're willing to give that up for their lusty desires. So can we understand from this chapter that temptation due to lusty desires is the greatest fall in this material world, and one thing is the Lord himself came as Mohinī-Mūrti, and he's invoking the lusty desires of the demons. But another thing that comes to mind is that it is Lord himself who's coming as Mohinī-Mūrti. So any relationship with the Lord is purifying. So I can't understand how that lusty desire is not helping the demons. But one lesson I learned is not to fall for lusty desires. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice point. I mean, Ravana also was lusty towards Mother Sita. So, when the goal is Atmindra Priti Vancha Tare Bole, come. The goal was not to serve, the goal was to please my own senses. Krishna Priti Ichha Dhare Premanam. When the desire is to please Krishna, that's called prema or love. So, Ravana-like propensity will not. I mean, we have discussed that, yes, that's also to become inimical towards Lord is also one of the relation, but it's a long story, the Jai Vijay story. But in general, we should not try to apply those principles to become inimical towards the Lord or desire to enjoy Lord's property. Because if someone asks this question, well, everything is Lord's energy, right? Everything is Lord's energy, so I just enjoy, correct? But how many people develop relationship with the Lord trying to enjoy Lord's property? One of my, acquaintance asked this question. Well, everything is created by God. In India, everyone is so spiritual, but they may use it to sometimes wrong things. This alcohol also is created by Lord. This is Lord's energy. So let me just drink it and appreciate Lord's energy, right? He said, well, if you're so spiritual, then is it helping you to become closer to God, or is it helping you to go further away from God? So you have to use things in the right perspective. You can't imitate Ravana, etc. Okay, so I hope you all have studied for chapter 7 and chapter 8. So for those who are doing this first time, I'm going to share on my screen. So for this you need two gadgets. So one is the gadget which you're currently using, the Zoom, and the other gadget you would use to answer the questions which will be shown on the screen. The questions will be shown on the screen, and from your second gadget, you have to go to the website called Kahoot, KAHOOT.IT. No need to install any apps or anything. You just need to go to this website and enter a nickname. So I hope you all can see this now. So go to this website, KAHOOT.IT, and enter this pin. Put a nickname for yourself and just wait for maybe 1 or 2 minutes for everyone to join. This is going to be very nice. Everyone will like it, and this will be, even if you have not studied, that's fine. You will learn. This will be fun, learning Bhagavatam in a fun way, because bhakti is after all fun. So put your name, go to this website, and I would like everyone to take part. Don't worry, because in bhakti there is always success only. Even if you are in the last, you are first from the bottom. So don't worry, because in bhakti there is no one is last. Everyone is. So is everyone having any issues in joining? Please let me know. Okay, so I guess most of you have joined. Do I need to wait more? Okay, so we will
Yes,
get...
Prabhuji, I didn't join. I have some
Okay.
connection. 1 second.
Okay, sure. So we'll just get started in 1 minute. Let me know, Lakshmi Mataji, when you're in. You have to answer correctly and quickly. So from the other gadget, which is in your hands, I believe, you will pick the color of the right option. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm in.
Okay, let's get started. All the best to everyone. So When churning began, demons plead that they wanted to hold dash of the snake because they are advanced in Vedic knowledge. So demons wanted to hold the hood, the mouth, the tail, or both the sides. And here this is the timer running, so you have to answer before the timer. The answer is the mouth. The face side, they wanted to hold it. So, tricky question. You have to check all the options. Okay, next. Mandara mountain, without support, was being churned. What was happening? It was breaking down, melting, exploding, sinking. What was going on with Mandara mountain when it was without support being churned? Yes, it was sinking in the, who knows the answer? In where was it sinking?
Sheer.
Milky Ocean.
Yeah, ocean of milk. Very nice. Okay, third question. Supreme Lord appeared as dash to give support. The Lord appeared as what to give support to the Mandara mountain? Tortoise, yes. Kachapa, Kurma Avtara. And who knows the size of Kachapa Avtara?
800,000 miles. 1,000 miles.
Yes, 800,000 miles or 100,000 yojanas. That's a lot. What's the diameter of Earth, by the way? Anyone knows?
8,000 miles.
8,000 miles. So we can multiply that with only 100 times the size of the Earth, just to give some. Question 4. When the ocean was being churned, it first produced, what did it produce? Fiercely dangerous poison called halahal, Uchashrava, Kaustubhamani, Airavat. What was the first thing? Yes, the halahal poison came. Okay. How many of you studied for this? Meshra, who studied? Okay. Okay, Nandini Mataji is number 1 and Bhaswati Mataji quite close. It's close competition. Let's see how it goes. Bhavani dashed Lord Shiva to drink the poison. So did she allow? Did she not allow? Did she curse? What happened? The wife of Lord Shiva, Bhavani, what did she do? She gave permission to Lord Shiva. Why did she give permission? To support in the Loka Kalyana, to help the whole world. Otherwise, who had the potential to drink the poison? To help everyone, the wife gave the permission. In short, husband and wife should help each other for Krishna conscious activities. So what happened? Where did the lines, the bluish line, was on the face, chest, waist, neck? Where did the lines appear? On the neck. He's also called, what is he called?
Nilakanta.
Nilakanta. Nilam Kanta, yes. Kanta means neck. Kantimala. Nila means blue. So question 7. Dash took the opportunity to drink whatever poison had fallen and scattered from Lord Shiva's hand while he was drinking. So who drank the rest of a few drops fell down Who drank those? Scorpions, cobras, poisonous drugs, or all? All of the above, yes. So that's why they have these creatures that have poison. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, could you please tell the number?
Okay, I will tell in the next one. It's here at the bottom. Join this one. 4386137. Okay. When it's just with the white horse, the timer is going on, so you have to keep going. There's a number for you. Sorry. Uchishiva.
Bali Maharaj, right, Prabhu?
Bali Maharaj, Prabhu. Indra was the
Yeah,
Airavat.
Bali Maharaj. Not Indra. Indra got
Airavat.
Airavat.
It's Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj.
Is it?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, Prabhuji.
let's see. I don't design this, so one devotee helps me. I know Bali Maharaj got it, but whose desire was it? This is probably in the chapter 8. I'm going to read this again. There could be sometimes tricky questions.
Prabhu, for me it says reconnect, connection lost. Does anybody else have the same error? Okay.
No, Mataji, we are connected.
Connected.
Prabhuji, text 3, it says, therefore a horse named Uchishrava, which was as white as the moon, was generated. Bali Maharaj desired to possess this horse.
Okay.
And
So this
Indra, the
could be-
king of heaven, did not
So
possess.
we get the credit.
Okay. So you're right. So this question should be Bali Maharaj. Some of you accidentally got it right. Okay.
Prabhuji,
But-
Chakrika typed Bali Maharaj, Indra, and we were like, no, it's Bali Maharaj, and her answer is right now.
The same here, Mataji. Kṛṣṇa also put Indra, and we were telling him, no, Bali Maharaj.
Yes.
Prabhu, I lost the connection. I don't know what to do now.
You can try to reconnect, Mataji.
No, I did 10 times, Prabhu.
But then it
Always
will
you are always winner.
assign as a new
Mataji,
person.
everybody also, has to get, so you are giving chance to others.
Yes, Prabhu.
You can still connect now. It's not locked. That means others can also join in the middle also. At least it will not take into consideration your previous score. I don't know. I'm not.
It's okay.
leave.
I will leave. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Dandavats. Hare Krishna.
Okay, next question. Oh, Kṛṣṇa moved up. Chakrika moved up. Good. Dash appeared from the churning of the milk ocean, and the Supreme Lord desired to possess. Who was that? Airavata, Parijata, Kaustuban, Padmaraga, or the nectar? Yes, Indra got the Parijata. And nectar came much later. So yes, the answer is the Kaustuba and the Padmaraga.
Just the game pin.
Game pin is here, my dear. Join, yeah. The goddess of fortune, Rama. So who supplied the earrings to Lord? So the goddess of fortune. To the goddess of fortune, okay. This is tricky one. If you have studied, then you can answer. See. the inhabitants of Nagaloka. This is right. Okay. 11. After being worshipped by all, after full deliberation, goddess of fortune accepted who as her husband? Demigods, demons, Sadashiva, Mukunda. Who did Lakshmi Devi or goddess of fortune accept as her husband? Yes, Lord Mukunda, very nice. Okay, last few questions, last 3 questions. Possession of Varuni, the lotus-eyed goddess who controls the trunkas, was taken by whom? Indra, Vali Maharaj, Varuna, or both demigods and demons? Vali Maharaj, yes. So Varuni was taken by Vali Maharaj. Second last question. Nash appeared from the churning, carrying the jug of nectar. Who is this transcendental personality? Mohinī, Dhanvantari, Narad Muni, Angira Muni. Dhanvantari. Mohinī didn't carry the jug of nectar from the ocean. First, Dhanvantari came and the photo was also there. The nectar was taken away by the demons and they shared with them, drank it all, began to fight or hid it safely. What did they do with the nectar? Yes, they began to fight. I will drink first, I will drink first, I am better, and then this whole fighting started. So let's see our podium. At third spot we have Lakshmi Mataji, Hari Bo. At second spot we have Swati Mataji, and at first spot we have Kṛṣṇa.
Kṛṣṇa. Who is Kṛṣṇa?
So Sudhir Prabhu and Renuka Mataji's beloved child.
Oh.
And
Kṛṣṇa. He listened the Gauranga Darshan Prabhu class, Prabhu. Link.
Today, yeah, he heard the class you sent, Prabhuji.
oh, nice, very nice.
Wonderful child, Prabhuji.
That's wonderful.
No, it's because of one wrong question also he won, Mataji.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay.
They were like wonderful.
Yeah, I studied, I listened, but thank you for your blessings, everyone.
Good job.
Good job.
Congratulations, Kṛṣṇa.
We'll see you tomorrow in class.
Okay, thank you so much, all the Vaishnavas. Thank you so much for joining. We will have special class by Mr. Adhikari Prabhu tomorrow. So please connect. And thank you again. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīmad ki jai, Samundra Manthan Leela ki jai, Shri Mohinī-Mūrti ki jai, Shri Kachchap Avatar ki jai, Shri Sahasrabhahu Avatar ki jai, Shri Dhanvantari Avatar ki jai, Shri Garuda Avatar ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripā sindhubhyo
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Very nicely you sang this verse. Good job.